Could you take us back to the beginning? How did you discover your passion for storytelling and the arts?
It sounds so cliche, but literally since I can remember, I've been um, creating my own little like worlds and stuff. I was a very um, I didn't really have a lot of friends, so I spent a lot of time by myself, and it was one of those things where I could just like sit in a room and entertain myself for hours because I would just come up with like crazy worlds. And then I just remember when I would watch a lot of movies. One thing that I particularly in my head that I like have vivid memories of is this is so cliche, but like the Harry Potter movies. I
Mm,
remember like after they were done, I would like bounce around my like living room on like the couches and pretend I was like playing like Quidditch and stuff. And I would watch those behind the scenes. Remember like DVDs when they had like the
yeah.
bonus discs? Ooh, I loved those. I would watch the entire movie and then I would sit there and watch like all if there was 4 hours of behind the scenes footage, I was doing it. I was watching it. I loved it. So, yeah, it's always been something that I've done. I used to do a lot of singing when I was younger and on my mom's side of the family, my uncles and all of them, they're all like really amazing musicians. And so that was something that was just always kind of in my childhood.
Mm, not bad. And you're one of the stars of Surreal Estate, and this is the longest that you've lived with a character, and you've really had the opportunity to shape her from the beginning. What were some of those early decisions that you made regarding Zoe that weren't necessarily on the page? What's been the most surprising part about her journey thus far?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, the amazing thing and the thing that I love, like I so love about Surreal Estate is the team is so trusting and like open to collaboration all the time. And it's such an amazing feeling. Like they always want to know your input and stuff. And especially at the beginning, George was very like graceful with us kind of like discovering the characters and asking lots of questions and stuff. And so I really just wanted to make Zoe um especially because she was someone in the office and at first we were kind of going for like kind of like a goth alternative type of like a kind of like gothy kind of look, but
Mhm.
then she's kind of meshed into like alternative. And for me, I really just wanted to put someone on the screen that I would have liked to have seen when I was younger. I know it's kind of once again it's kind of a cliche to say thing to say, but it was so growing up, I didn't get to see like I'm mixed. So my mom's white, my dad's black, and I didn't really get to see a whole lot of representation like that.
Yeah.
And it was either like very like hip hop oriented kind of fashion, or they were like very like geeky and kind of like the odd one out type of thing. And I just really
Mm.
wanted to find because I just never really knew. I was like, well, I kind of like this and I kind of like that. And so I just wanted to put someone on screen that was very much like me in person. And that's kind of Zoe in a lot of aspects. I was very adamant about having her hair in natural styles. I was like, look at maybe if people see it on camera more often, and she's in an office setting, so maybe if they see it in an office setting on camera more often, then
Mm.
people can wear their natural hair when they go to work and stuff like that. So that was like a really big thing, and everyone was like really on board for that. And yeah, I think everything's just been really amazing because everyone's just so supportive and we just really love this show and we love everyone that's a part of it. So everyone just really wants everyone to be happy with what they're doing.
You've been such a trailblazer for your community, and now young girls and boys won't have to grow up experiencing the same thing that you did. And so much of Zoe's journey this
Yeah.
season has been about finding her purpose, which you brought so much depth and vulnerability to. As an actress, how did you create this space for yourself to dive into that arc?
Um, that's a really good question. Thank you. And thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah, Zoe's been a really big trip for me. She's been a lot of fun to kind of really dig into those things. And I think as an actor, I was really ready um to really dig deeper into these characters, and everyone was so on board, and the writing this year just really allowed for um that journey. And honestly, I was so excited to do it. And it was one of those times where you're like when stuff in the past has happened and you're like, someday I can use this. It was one of those
Mm,
moments for a lot of those things where I've been like I've felt this way in the past. And so I really just kind of thought of situations that I've been in my life, and kind of put them into each of those scenes to kind of help with an understanding. So I'm really glad that it's been able to come across in that way. And I love Zoe's arc. Um, I love this idea of, because she's still like in her early 20s, like
Yeah.
early to like, kind of late 20s, she's like 25, 26. And even then, sometimes we're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know. And that's completely okay. And you have time to figure it out. And yeah, I just love Zoey. She's just so fun.
Yeah, you're absolutely captivating to watch on screen. And there's such a beautiful moment in episode 210 with August and Susan in the car that really highlights that friendship between Zoe and Susan and how they've looked out for each other from the beginning. It's one of my favorite relationships on the show. Who are the women in your own life who've shown up for you in a similar way? And what was it like getting to collaborate with Sarah to bring that dynamic to life?
Oh, oh my God. Sarah Levy, it's so easy. Sarah Levy is amazing. And she's such, I mean, they're all just very like humble and down to earth people, especially Sarah. She's probably one of the most like humble people I've ever met. She's so kind and generous. And so I just love being on set with her. She's also a very generous actor. All of them are such generous actors. They, even if they're not on camera, they are still giving. And so it was very easy to create that relationship on camera. But then also, I think me and Sarah really wanted to create this like kind of girl bond between each other, in the
Yeah,
sense that Sarah's trying to kind of be like or Susan, sorry, is trying to be kind of like a leader in the Roman agency. And it's kind of that thing that does kind of happen, where sometimes the men in the office will kind of like brush people off. And so that was kind of, me and Sarah were kind of like, let's have each other's back. Let's do this thing where it's like
yeah,
we're constantly like, we're both kind of like just trying to um like support each other. So there's like
yeah.
this unspoken thing that we wanted, where it was like every time the characters would kind of like brush her aside, we wanted to make sure that there was like a look transferred towards each other, being like, I saw that and I hear that and I've got you. And so different things throughout it, those kind of like sassy little looks that Zoe's been giving Luke and the rest of the team, is her being like, I see what you're doing and I don't like it
Mm,
and I love you, so please change, type of thing. And so yeah, that's been really fun to build that just like that big relationship. And I think also with Zoe doesn't really have a lot of people in her life, and she's a very loyal person. So when she chooses
mhm.
someone that she wants to be loyal, she is gung ho for them. And I think that she just really respects Susan. And in terms of, sorry, I kind of like forgot the other half of the
No,
question, but there are so many amazing women in my life. My mom is probably my biggest cheerleader. That woman, I love her, obviously, but she is just everything to me. I mean, when I did plays and musicals in high school, I lived like really far away. And so my mom would have to pick me up and drive me home. And so she would spend all day at work. And then for the whole week that I had like a musical or a play on at school, she was there for every single play. She'd get her comp ticket at the beginning, but then she would pay for every
mm,
single one. And that was like with my rehearsals and everything. And she's just always been so supportive. When I was like not sure if I wanted to do it, she'd be like, Savannah, do not waste your talent. Like, you can do this.
mhm.
And I appreciate, and I always just wanted to get the chance to appreciate. I did a lot of retail when I was working and stuff. And there are so many women that I worked with that were so amazing that I would be like, guys, I have to do like an audition tomorrow. And they'd be like, don't worry, we got you. Like, these girls were also had like lives and plans, and they would jump at the opportunity to cover my shift so that I could
Mm.
go and do these auditions. And I'm just so grateful for them, because, I'd go into work and I'd be like, I got an audition. And there'd be like everyone on the floor would be like, yeah, like, yes, Savannah, like, you can do this. And that was just absolutely amazing.
You're also
Okay.
no stranger to the horror or sci-fi genre, but what makes Real Estate so special is its use of humor. How much of that is scripted versus improvised, and how fun is it for you as an actor to get to play in all of these different spaces?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. I love anything horror and like spooky related. I find the horror genre so fun. I think you can do so much with the horror genre, and I think there's a lot of topics that you can talk about that people may not feel comfortable talking about if you were to
Mm,
present it in like a dramatic setting where it's just very intense. But if you kind of hide it underneath these layers of horror, I feel like people are a little bit easier. It's a little bit more of an easier watch. Like The Babadook, for example, that's an entire movie about grief and that whole struggle, and you're not sitting there like thinking about this terrible like death that happened the entire time, right? You're just thinking about whatever. And so that's kind of that's what's always drawn me to it. And the really fun thing about Surreal Estate, like you said, is it has this element of humor to it. And the thing about a lot of the humor is it is improv. I would say Adam, that man, you have to give him at least like 30 seconds after a scene because he literally will just go and go and go. And then occasionally, like, you'd hear Denise go be like, okay, in the back, but you could just, like, yeah, he'll just keep going. And it's just a lot of natural stuff that just happens
mm.
between us. Little like mistakes that'll happen, and someone catches it and thinks it's funny. And then the next take will end up like doing it. And so, yeah, a lot of it is sometimes improvised. I'd say a lot of it is Adam, a lot of reactions to just what Adam said.
Your character in particular is such a standout throughout the series. Do you have a favorite Zoe moment from either season one or season two?
Ooh. Favorite Zoe moment. Ooh, one of my favorite moments was from season one where I get like possessed and I get to like crawl down the wall. That was so much fun. I got to do that stunt myself. That was a lot of fun. I got to be like hooked up to like the stuff and I was like dangling from the wall. It was like so scary the first time I did it because I literally had to go onto a handstand and then the guys are like outside the room, like literally like pulling me up. And I'm like a really bad Spider-Man, just like upside down. And it was so scary at first, but then the guys were like, Savannah, we've got you. Like you can push against the ropes. And so after a few like tries, I got really comfortable with it. And by the end of it, I was like bouncing off the
Mm.
walls, adjusting myself. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's probably been one of my favorite moments. And I also really enjoyed a lot of the scenes that we did at Ensom House this season. So the episode where I just got beat up, that was a lot
Yeah.
of fun. And it was a lot of fun because I got to sit in the chair, so I got to hang out with Sky while she did my face a little extra bit. So that was always really fun.
And then episode 210 is about to air this coming Wednesday, and it's the perfect bookend to the season, but leaves the door open for so many more stories to be told. If we're lucky enough to get a season three, what else would you like to dive deeper into with Zoe?
Ooh, um, I am hoping so much for a third season because I would absolutely love to go play with everybody again. And I would love to play Zoe. I think it would be really fun to dive a little bit more into Zoe's, maybe a little bit more into her personal life, see where her skeletons
Mm,
are, dig up some of her ghosts. That would be really interesting to see some more of her ghosts pop back up and see where that goes. I love spooky stuff. So I'm just like, I want some more like spooky
mhm.
oogie stuff. Yeah, that would be really fun. So I think it would be really fun to get to see yeah, a little bit more of everyone in like their personal lives, maybe just like some
Yeah.
more stuff of them at home, solo dolo doing get to see what they do when they're not at the Roman agency. That might be really fun. See if a ghost maybe follows them home.
Yeah, you need to pitch that to the writers. I think that's something that hasn't been explored in season one or season two yet. And that would be such an exciting chapter for season three. I got one final question for you. You're such an exciting voice in this industry. As you look ahead, is there a dream role that you would love to bring to life, either in front of the camera, maybe behind it?
Ooh, um, there's so many. That is such a good question. Thank you so much. Um, there are a lot of characters that I would like to bring to life. There's a lot of stories that I would really like to bring to life, just in general. Um, I know that like I've always really loved. I think it would be really fun to like dive into some more like kind of like bayou horror. I really love. I think that would be really cool. There's some really interesting stuff that's happening down, like, in like New Orleans in terms of
Mm,
culture and like the
yeah.
mix of everything in there. I think that would be really fun. I'm a huge like season one True Detective fan. So, something like dark and stuff like that. But then I would also really love to see have you ever heard of the book A Promise is a Promise?
I've
It's
not.
like it's like a fight. It was by Robert Munch, and there was another author that helped, and it's like kind of like an Inuit ghost story. It's really fun, but I think that that would be really fun. I'd love to see some more like indigenous stories told.
Mm,
Um, I just think they have really cool, like there's some really cool mythology and like lore in
yeah.
there that I think would just make incredible stories. And I would just really love to be a part of it if I could, in some way, maybe behind the scenes, but even yeah, I just want to more creepy, scary stuff. Mike Flanagan, something fun like that. That would be
Mm.
amazing.
Oh, actually, that'd be perfect for you. You would be incredible in a Mike Flanagan like Netflix series.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's like that'd be so cool.